What's up, boys? Back out here. I didn't put out a video Thursday, which is actually yesterday in my world. I've been too busy cleaning and just the shop has been a mess with trying to get back to the dyno, and I have like 3 days in just cleaning and organizing the shop. But I want to go over the aftermath of running this thing pretty much back to back on the dyno, run after run after run. I think we did something like 30 runs the last time, and the time before that we did like way more than that. And there's some issues. I'm always honest with you guys. The one that pisses me off the most is that this brake master cylinder is leaking, or my check valve went bad in this. This is just a stock check valve. I don't know how much boost the stock check valve can do. I got one that'll take 80 PSI, so I think I'm just gonna cut this line, put an 80 PSI check valve in there, because I don't know if this is getting boost or not, but it leaked out all over the bottom. When I came back from the dyno and driving it and stuff, I just went through and checked all the fluids. This was like half empty. And the bottom of this booster is completely ruined now because of brake fluid. So if you guys have been following me for a long time, when I took everything out and painted the engine bay and had everything painted and powder coated and stuff, my buddy did a lot of work on this brake booster to get it nice, because there's some rust spots at the bottom that were about to rust through. He fixed all that. Brake fluid leaked out the bottom of this reservoir and completely ate all the paint. It's just a wrinkled mess, and there's brake fluid all down on like the subframe and everything that I cleaned up, but subframes might need touched up. And this gearbox is done. There might have just been too much fluid in there. All those little like grooves down there by the slave cylinder is full of gear oil, which I was panicking there for a little bit yesterday when I was going over this car. I was thinking something was leaking oil, like my head gasket or something again, like it did the first time. But all my head gaskets are perfectly dry. I'm not leaking oil anywhere. That is gear oil, which I'm not going to be able to get you a shot, I bet. Try to get the camera down there and get you guys a shot of it. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see or not. I kind of shoved the camera down there. But wherever that slave cylinder is, right underneath it, you know, there's those pockets. Let me see if I can get my finger down there and show you guys what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I put my finger down in one of these transmission pockets. It's just full of gear fluid, which, I mean, there's like a little blow off or a little vent right there. I mean, I might have too much gear oil in there and it just blew out of that little vent. It's just not happy. I mean, this thing's been leaking everywhere. We can go up in the air. So yeah, this gearbox, there's always been little drips here and there, but I think just after beating the crap out of it on the dyno multiple times, it's just done. It needed rebuilt anyways. We all know my third gear grinds every time, but I got leaks out of everything that splits apart, which this thing's been open before in the past, so I don't know if it's a built transmission or what. I know the kid that had it before me had a bunch of stuff done to the car, but you can see it's leaking there, like pretty bad. Every crush washer needs to be replaced. It's leaking out of every one of those. Anywhere that the transmission splits, it's leaking. So this thing's been open and just not sealed good. And then just after all that power and torque, I think it's just blown it apart. This is all gear fluid. I thought that this was engine oil from my rear main dripping, but you smell it, it's gear fluid. I don't know if any of this is from the transfer case, but it's all gonna come out and be gone through. My heat wrap held up pretty good. My first time ever doing that. I mean, it's not as fun or as easy as it looks, but it held up. I'm not leaking oil or antifreeze really anywhere. I got some, I can't tell if what's down here is oil or if it is brake fluid. I know I should be able to smell, but I can't tell the difference. Like right there, there's some. You guys might be able to see better now if I can zoom in. See how the bottom of that booster? All of the paint just peeled off the whole bottom of that thing. Just a wrinkled mess. I'm pretty upset about it. But everywhere else, everything's dry. I checked all the cam seals. They're all good. Everything up here is good. No oil on any of the manifolds. No valve cover leaks. No oil or coolant on any of the turbos. Turbos aren't leaking anything anywhere. Suspension held up pretty good. I went around off camera and just like shook everything and checked everything. The only thing that I'm having is something in the rear on both sides. So I don't know if just one of these control arms came loose. I kind of need someone to come over, like Adrian come over and shake it while I look. But I definitely got like some top end play. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Right there. What am I leaking? Brake fluid? You see that paint? Something's leaking. I don't have a tight fitting somewhere. It's that one right there. I bet you it's that fitting right there because the back of that one's wet. Everything else, it looks dry. Yep. It's that hard line that goes into the braided line. But here, let me show you the jiggle that I'm talking about on both these wheels. There's nothing here. I can't move this wheel if my life depended on it this way. This way, I get like a little tiny bit of a jerk that would probably pass inspection or something if I had inspection where I'm at, but yeah, this one's even worse. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but nothing this way. It's only this way, like it's that upper ball joint or that upper control arm, but the fronts are solid everywhere. The biggest things I'm worried about is making sure I don't leak brake fluid because I gotta stop this torque monster. I don't know if it's getting boost and spraying out or if this master cylinder is just bad. Or it might even just be this reservoir like has seals in it. It might just be leaking there. There's nothing up top. It's spraying out the bottom. But it doesn't do it when I just hit the brake. I think it's getting boost because I checked that the other day. I hit the brake and there wasn't any fluid anywhere. Oh, and another thing too, I keep forgetting. I gotta figure out my speed sensor because we ended up having to turn off two-step because it was hitting two-step anytime we went over like 5,200 RPMs because that's where we had two-step set at. So we just turned it off to those last like 10 dyno pulls because the speed sensor was not telling that AEM Series 2 ECU that the car was even moving. If you don't know, two-step works, you'll set it up to a mile per hour. So we got to set up for anything under 5 miles an hour. So if you're under 5 miles an hour and you just floor it, it just bounces off 5,200 RPMs, like launch control kind of. I don't have anti-lag yet because with the AEM, I got to hook in a switch. We were going to hook it in to my clutch. So when my clutch was all the way to the floor, anti-lag would have worked. But I don't have a clutch switch anymore. I can start the car without the clutch being pushed in because that clutch switch went bad and I ended up just deleting it. I gotta get all new wires for these. I just want to get all new connectors for my ignition. There's just little gremlins of like copper wire showing through on some of these. This tab broke. I've talked about this before, and so it doesn't actually lock into place. I just put super glue on the corners when we were street tuning just to get me by, and then I forgot to fix it, and that super glue melted loose. That's why we were having some breakup problems. And I still haven't made up my mind if I want to do coil unplug, which the AEM will allow you to do, because right now the AEM's set up for just 3 coils. It'll like tell this one to spark, then this one, then this one. You gotta switch it to 6. Besides that, coil unplug would be pretty easy. I don't know which one's better, to be honest with you. I haven't done too much research on it. Talked to a couple of you guys that say that you guys went with the HKS DLI, and it was like night and day the amount of spark that it puts out. You guys are like up in 35 pounds of boost, gapped at like 22, and it's not blowing the spark out because of how strong that is. Is the coil unplugged just as strong as the DLI? I don't know. Like I said, I haven't done any research on it. But I think that's it, man. Besides that, she held up great. I would say she's broke in, huh? Oh, and I'm still going to do a video on how to do the front mount intercooler for you guys that care, because I was giving you little hints here and there. I had to cut this corner of my body out, and I got a couple different couplers, and instead of drilling into my car, I made it work without having to drill into your car. A lot of people drill into their car and like will put brackets places to hold it. I'll walk you guys through that in a separate video. All right, for those of you that actually made it this far in the video, this is an EVO blow-off valve. The reason why I think it sounds so cool and it chirps and it talks to you is I actually have it hooked up backwards. So this is from an EVO. It's usually hooked up here, and then the spring just holds it shut until it gets enough vacuum to open. Well, I have it hooked up backwards so it actually pushes it shut and keeps it shut until it tells it to work. That's why I'm able to be at like 34 pounds of boost and the stock EVO wastegate is staying shut because I have it hooked up backwards. Here, let me take it off. I'll get you guys a part number and everything. Okay, so there it is. It's nothing pretty. It's nothing fancy. It's just the EVO blow-off valve with Mitsubishi part number. It is K5T09274 with the Mitsubishi logo right there. Why I have it hooked up backwards is that it usually gets hooked up here to this side. And you see the plunger right there? Boost pushes up against it and opens it. I don't know how well you guys are able to see on camera. I might just have to take pictures and show you. Can you guys see that? I think so. You see that plunger right there? Usually this is hooked up to the intake and boost hits that plunger. But once it gets too high, like I think this is like 12 pounds of boost or something. I can't hold the camera and open it. So you see that plunger, once boost builds up into this, it hits that and opens. You see how it opens? Well, I have it hooked up backwards. So instead of it being able to open, boost is always pressed up against that. So it keeps it shut when it's under boost until the boost controller tells it and it sucks it open. And I think that's why I get my chirps, is because it'll suck it open for a couple seconds every now and then from vacuum, sucking it down. And then once it gets in the real boost, it slams it shut. So I think when there's too much vacuum, it's actually sucking it open. And I think that's why it talks to you. And I think I'm gonna leave it because I'm making decent power with it and I like it talking to you. So there you go. There's my secret on the blow-off valve. And to just touch base on the whole pod filter thing. Sure you can tell I've been working on it. I'm just too picky, and no matter what way I come up with them, I'm not happy with it. Now there is a guy that makes really good pipes. It seems like a really good product. He actually reached out to me and sent me an email. He has the aluminum ones that are just like 390s over here, 290s here, and they fit perfectly right there, and you just put the filters on. But he doesn't have any vacuum lines nipples on there. I was, for the longest time, 100% I have to run my catch can, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, because of how much blow-by I had from Story Motors, just not building the engine right. But I checked my catch can multiple times on the dyno. I never got a drop of oil in it. I've never had any blow-by, so I don't know. I might end up just going with him. Another thing is that I didn't really want to run 90s if I didn't have to. So I was trying to do a 45 here, and then maybe a smaller, like 45 adapter. And I wanted to just not have them just come straight out like this. It seems like everybody just has two of them sitting right there. Well, another thing is my fuse box is going to be up out of the way because I'm going to trim it to get around this pipe some more. I don't have my ABS, and I don't have a side mount, so I get a lot of cold air coming through that hole right there. I was hoping to get two of them at like a 45-degree angle, tucking down in there like this, is what I was hoping for. I don't know. I might just end up biting the bullet and buying his two pieces of pipe. I might hit him up and see if he can add a 3/8 nipple on there so I can hook my catch can up to it, even though obviously I don't really need it because I'm not having any blow-by. I'm sure one of you guys will ask what's going on with the pod filters because I've been talking about them for 8 months. I'm too picky, and I just want them to be perfect, and I want them to look good. I just don't want stuff all scabbed together. But yeah, I think that's it, man. The car is great. The engine is great. If you made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. All the questions that everyone is asking me is on my channel. I don't mind answering them, but it kind of gets repetitive when you guys just keep asking the same thing, like everything that's done to it. Everything that's done to it, like a whole parts list is down in my description in every video, and step by step on everything is on my channel. So if you're interested in the build, go check it out. I literally walk you through it. There should be no reason why if you go pick up a 3000 GT and you want to do this exact build, you should be able to do it just by watching my videos, and a lot faster because I even show you my mistakes and what not to do. And I just walk you through like tricks to have stuff done fast and right, and just go check it out if you want to do a build like this. This thing's completely built, all forged internals, 15 over pistons, stage 2 cams, 15G turbos, which might go away. I haven't made up my mind yet if I want to go to 20Ts, if I just want to leave it like this for a while, if I want to hit it with a shot of nitrous. There you go. Proof's in the pudding. You do a build like this, you'll be able to hold up to 600 foot-pounds of torque, no problem. Your gearbox might not be able to, but we've talked about that in the past. I want to rebuild that. I was trying to wait till winter, but I don't know. I might have to take it out and crack it open here soon. I need to check the fluid. I'm going to check the fluid today, and I might even take it for a rip. I might bring you guys with me. So this is either the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one, or I will see you in the car.